So something strange happened on Saturday evening, 11th of April 2026. Nigerian Air Force carried out a strike against terrorists, or I can say terrorist enclave, between the border of Borno and Yobe states. And it happens to be a market called Jilli Market, where it's a weekend market that people go and buy and sell. Traders flock the market to buy. But it was reported that terrorists, you don't want to, any name you call them is okay. Boko Haram, ISWAP, Makorowa, whatever. Let's just give them a common name. Terrorists have taken over the market. And it's no longer news also that residents of these northern states are collaborating with these terrorists. The army have said it, that the residents should be giving intelligent report to men of the Nigerian Armed Forces. But they're actually collaborating, working with these terrorists. And that's why it's going to be nearly impossible to defeat these terrorists very soon. So the strike was carried out, and unfortunately, so many civilians were involved. There's some terrorists, a few terrorists were killed, but many civilians in their numbers, were casualties. They were counting 30 as of Saturday evening, but as of today, Monday, some reliable sources report I'm getting, they say the casualties are increasing up to 200. People like the governor of Borno State, Babagana Zulum, he called it a surprising attack. There need to be a review of the security architecture.
This is one of the most surprising attacks that I've witnessed in the recent times. There is a need for us to also review our security architecture, because credible intelligence was received that these madmen were trying to attack this base for about 3 days. I wonder how such thing could happen. Chairman, are you aware? Anyway, I'm here to commiserate with you, especially the loss of the brigade commander.
After making such statement, few hours after, he said he got another report that he discovered that the market was closed 5 years ago. How on earth are you not aware that the market had been closed because of terrorists? How on earth are you are a governor and you are not aware that this market or this border between Borno and Yobe have been taken over by these terrorists? And that's why the market was closed 5 years ago. So the attack is what made you to realize that it has been closed 5 years ago. This is embarrassing. This is what we continue to see in Nigeria day after day. So as you would expect, people like Atiku Abubakar jumped on the news and condemned it. Civilians are this. If he was president, he wouldn't do nothing. He would even do worse. I can say with my full chest that Tinubu is doing more. Tinubu is actually doing well in this combat against terrorism. I love what the Nigerian army wrote, because Nigerian army, gave a press release, released a statement detailing how the strike was carried out for those social media warriors or insurgent fighters that are on social media, to let everyone know how the precision strike was carried out. They said Operation Hardin Kai, air component neutralizes terrorist logistics hub, an enclave in precision airstrike at Jilli Gubio LGA of Borno State. The air component of Joint Task Force Northeast Operation Hardin Kai, in a carefully planned and intelligence-driven operation, has successfully conducted a precision airstrike on a known terrorist enclave and logistics hub located near the abandoned village in Jilli in Gubio local government area of Borno State. The successful strike, executed on 11 April 2026, follows sustained intelligence surveillance and reconnaissance missions over the Bindu-Jilli axis, an area long identified as a major terrorist movement corridor and convergence point for Islamic State West Africa province terrorists and their collaborators. It will be recalled that in January 2026, troops moving from Gubio towards Damasak came under a major improvised explosive device attack along the road at Bindu, resulting in the tragic loss of 8 soldiers, while several others were wounded in action. More recently, on 9 April, coordinated attacks were recorded in Ngambu and Benishek supported by the same terrorist logistic network. Consequently, the theater intensified overhead surveillance and intelligence gathering across the area in response to persistent reports of terrorist movement and logistics activity. On April 11, multiple reports were received of ISWAP gun trucks and motorcycles moving along the axis. Consequently, intelligence reports, reconnaissance coverage over the area was immediately intensified. During the surveillance mission, a contingent of motorcycles were observed moving in the direction of Jilli, followed shortly by the movement of several additional vehicles, all converging on the same location. These suspicious movements were subsequently corroborated by credible human intelligence sources, confirming that the converging elements were terrorists, their collaborators, and logistics handlers. In line with established operational procedures, a rigorous and professional targeting process was undertaken. Target fidelity was confirmed through multiple credible human intelligence sources supported by persistent area surveillance. Upon final validation, the air component executed a series of precision strikes on the objective, while surveillance platforms maintained continuous overwatch for real-time battle damage assessment. Post-strike assessment confirmed that the target area was struck with high accuracy, resulting in the destruction of the identified terrorist logistics enclave. Scores of terrorists were neutralized in the strike, with their vehicles and technicals destroyed, while surviving elements were observed fleeing in multiple directions. Intelligence further indicates that the neutralized elements were in the final stages of receiving logistics from couriers for coordinated attacks on truce location within the Gazabure axis. This decisive action has therefore significantly disrupted imminent terrorist plans and degraded their operational capability within the theater. Instructively, on 12 April 2026, a terrorist logistics courier identified as Toja Bulu was arrested at Ngambu town, and upon preliminary investigation confessed that he took part in the attack at 29 BDE location on April 9, 2026 at Benishek and had been dispatched by ISWAP from Jilli, where most of his fellow terrorists were hibernating to provide food items for another group of terrorists currently hibernating around the area. So this is what is really happening. Then the Nigerian army continued. This successful strike is yet another demonstration of the resolve and operational capability of OPHK to sustain relentless pressure on terrorist elements, disrupt their logistics networks, and deny them freedom of movement within the theater. The theater command also wishes to reiterate that the use of motorcycles remains strictly prohibited across the northeast operational theater, particularly in Borno and Yobe states, due to their established and continued use by terrorist elements for movement, logistics, and attack operations. Any such movements in restricted areas are therefore treated with utmost seriousness in line with existing operational directives. The Joint Task Force Northeast assures the good people of Northeast, and indeed all law-abiding Nigerians, that ongoing operations will continue with renewed intensity until all terrorist enclaves are dismantled and lasting peace is restored to the region. I've seen quite a lot of reactions. The reaction is around people saying that the terrorists were not targeted, that it was only civilians who fell, as casualties. I have a long tweets or reactions of people who condemn according to Punch newspaper, say Justin 30 feared death as NAF airstrike his Borno Yobe Market. That's from the Punch newspaper. Then Army now released a confession, from captured Boko Haram member, a teenage Boko Haram member, saying that the people of Jilli Market that was bombed were Boko Haram buying logistics.
Menene sunanka?
Sunana Tijjani.
Shekaranka nawa?
Shekara na 15.
Daga ina kake?
Daga Jilli nake.
Su wane ne a Jilli?
Ɗan Boko Haram ne.
Akwai Boko Haram a Jilli?
Akwai Boko Haram a Jilli.
Menene sunan komandan ku?
Babulama.
ku ne kuka yi atakin na Binishek da Ngamdu?
Mu ne muka yi atakin na Binishek da Ngamdu.
Da kuka gama ina kuka je?
Muka je Jilli.
Kuka koma Jilli? So daga Jilli sai kuka je ina?
Daga Jilli muna Jilli. Daga Jilli ne yanzu aka tura mu je mu siya kayan abinci.
Waye ya tura ku?
Babulama ne komanda.
Shi ne komanda, shi ya tura ku?
Shi ne ya tura mu je mu siya kayan abinci.
Ina ya tura ku?
Za mu je Maiduguri ne. Mun zo mun kwana London.
Nawa ya baku?
1850 ne.
1850 ya baku? Ka buɗe bakin da ka yi magana kan. To kuna da abin gurin zama ne a can?
Muna da ba ma da gurin zama, muna zama dai a jeji.
Kuna zama kawai a jeji ne? To yanzu bayan kun zo attack na Binishek da Gamdu, yanzu ina ne harin ku na gaba?
Gamdu ne.
Za ku
kashe yara 6.
An kashe muku
yara 6.
Yara 6. Shine za ku dawo?
Kuma ana neman wai siyo.
Kuna neman siyo na Gamdu? Shine kuke so ku kashe?
Shine ana neman shi da rai ne aka ce.
Ok, kuna neman shi da rai, ku tafi da shi da rai.
Haka ne.
Haka kuke nema? Yaushe ne za ku zo?
Ranar Juma'a ne.
Wani Juma'a din?
Na wannan ya dawo na saman shi.
Shi ne kuke so ku zo? Ku nawa ne kuke so ku zo?
Mota 29 ne.
Akwai wanda da kuka zo attack din, akwai wanda kuka kama da rai kuka tafi da su? Sojoji?
Babu.
Babu? To yanzu attack din da za ku zo da moto nawa kuke so ku zo?
Attack da mota 29 ne.
Da moto 29? Kuke so ku zo? Okay. So shine shirin ku na gaba?
Shine shirin mu na gaba.
So the confusion now is that the people, these casualties we have, most of them in the hospital, most of them are already dead. Are they civilians or are they Boko Haram members? That's a ranging debate across various social media platforms. So many people say, no, they are civilians. These young boys. So how can we take the statement of a teenager seriously? The boy that the Nigerian army, interviewed, as you're watching the video, he's not even up to, the boy is not, I don't think he's up to 19 years, a teenager. So they just took him as an evidence, interviewed him as an evidence, where he's saying it is the, is a Nigerian, the people that fell as casualties, that they are members of Boko Haram. It's really, really hard to believe. To me, it's very hard to believe. Then we have Arewa group saying that they have condemned the daily airstrike on the market, demanding full compensation for the victims. Not just that, civil society legislative advocacy also calls for urgent investigation. Everybody is calling for investigation into the strike now. This is not the first time that it is going to be reported that Nigerian Air Force or Nigerian Army was attempting to strike terrorists and miss their target and kill civilians instead. Why is this happening? It's because the civilians are collaborating with these terrorists. They are not giving the army clear-cut intelligence, clear-cut revelation, because these guys live with these civilians. These terrorists are, they have their family members around the places they are terrorizing. So why would they even give this classified information to the military, to the soldiers? So that's why I continue to say that the difficulty in combating this terrorism or defeating them is because these civilians are the ones cooperating with these terrorists and making it difficult for the Nigerian army to defeat them. So now the strike has happened the way it did. I think this will now serve as a deterrent to those who would want to collaborate with terrorists in this north. It's not just this border of Borno and Yobe state. There are other northern states that these terrorists have captured. They have made it their enclave. And they are even, some sources, have it that they're already collecting taxes. They are taxing people. They are collecting levies from residents and they are keeping quiet. These residents or civilians, as we call them now, they know where these terrorists are. They know who they are. They know their families. They know their relatives. So what is keeping them from reporting them to the Nigerian soldiers? They are profiting from it. When one terrorist, you see, if you listen to the interview the Nigerian army granted that teenage Boko Haram boy, he said he was given 800 and something thousand naira. 800 and something thousand naira. Do you know how much that money is in the northern part of Nigeria? And even in Nigeria at large, 800 and something thousand naira. There are some people that will not see that amount in that region in 2 years. But it was given to him to go and get logistics from the market. And in the process, he was caught. So, yes, as much as we would want the Nigerian Air Force, Nigerian Army to, next time they are striking terrorists, they should do a coordinated strike. Let the strike be more precise, so that civilian casualties will not be there. And then with the look of things, with the way this whole thing is going, it's almost impossible for the Nigerian Air Force or Nigerian Army to strike terrorists in an open place, just like the market or maybe places of gathering, without civilians getting involved, except if they trace them to the bush. Even if they go to the bush, they are not there. They are operating freely. They just come out, dine and eat with them. When they want to operate, they operate and go to the bush and all that. So we need intelligence. Maybe the one like Israel has, America has, Russia, even Iran. We need some level of intelligence to be able to figure out who is a terrorist and who is not. And Nigeria, I think it was a few days ago that I was getting a report that the Nigerian Air Force or Air Intelligence, they are complaining that the radar is not working. Very soon it will be difficult for them to track terrorists and be able to monitor Nigerian airspace. So Nigerian airspace rather. So something strange is happening in this country. Yes, we sympathize with the families and all of that, but there is even a bigger picture. Why are the civilians of these northern states not cooperating with the Nigerian army? Why are they not giving them classified information? These terrorists are their family members. These terrorists are from their communities. They know them by face. So they continue to terrorize people, kill people in mass, kill soldiers, kill police, kill civil defense, killing, like they are on killing spree. And tomorrow, somebody will tell me that these people, Boko Haram, whatever name you want to call them, they've repented. And you recruit them into the Nigerian army, recruit them into the Nigerian police. So I have no feeling for any of this rubbish. The Nigerian army must continue to carry out their strike against terrorists. If the residents of these states in the north refuse, and as they have been doing, refuse to cooperate with the Nigerian army, provide provide support for the Nigerian army, give classified information, because they are the best that will give such information. Some of the Nigerian soldiers that are recruited in these northern states, maybe you are a soldier, you are from Jos, you are recruited to go and fight in Borno. You don't really know the place. Maybe I think the Nigerian army is actually somehow trying now. They need to send soldiers who are citizens of those places. In every Nigerian state, we have hundreds, if not thousands of soldiers that have emerged from those cities. And we have more Nigerian soldiers from the north, more than soldiers from the south, east, or south, or southwest. So what is it's very simple. The soldiers from Borno should be deployed to fight against terrorists in Borno, or maybe you can add them up with soldiers from Yobe State, because they know the forest, they know these guys, they know their family members. That is where it gets easy. It becomes easy for all of us. I'm not a military person. I don't know if the suggestion I'm giving will be taken or not, but this is what I feel. This is the only way to fight terrorism in this country. Because if you send a soldier from maybe from Jos or Benue, soldier from let's just say Kano and all that, to some of these places that are bedeviled by terrorist attack, or let us just even say soldiers from Kaduna, you redeploy them to these Borno and Yobe. These guys, yes, they are soldiers and all of that, but they really need to know who are the members of the family members of these terrorists. These terrorists, they have family members, they have relatives. And these community leaders need to act as soon as possible by helping the Nigerian Army and Nigerian Air Force to track these demons and get them neutralized. Nigerian Air Force, they have tried, they have done all they could. Imagine in 2026 alone, we've lost, if I'm not mistaken, hundreds of Nigerian soldiers. And you think if they want to strike terrorists, they'll be emotional. Do you know what it is to lose one Nigerian soldier? We've lost hundreds already. And I see you say, Nigerian soldiers, go to the battlefield and see what they are facing. Go to the battlefield and see how soldiers, every day they wake up, what is in their minds that if we might die today, we might die tomorrow. And it's so Nigerian Air Force carried out a strike. Somebody somewhere, Nigeria is this, why is it that Nigeria? So you think fighting terrorism is social media? You have social media account, you go online and tweet. You think it's that easy? But we've seen news from Daily Trust breaking over 50 killed in accidental bombing at Borno Yobe border market. Daily Trust is run and owned by a journalist from the north. So anything that the Daily Trust is providing, it means this seems to be accurate or biased. What is bothering me now is how everybody is saying it's accidental strike. How did you know it's an accidental strike? The military has restricted the use of motorcycles across Borno, Yobe, and on some of these affected northern states where terrorists use motorcycles. Motorcycle can gain you access to the forest, and vehicles cannot do that. So that's what these terrorists use. They use motorcycles. In fact, one youth couple that was abducted, I think last month or last 2 months, they demanded for 2 motorcycles. And the 2 motorcycles were provided, and they had to release the boy, the young man. So, for me, whether it is accidental strike or a precision strike must be carried out against terrorists. And if the civilians fail to give the Nigerian soldiers, which I believe they are the perfect people to give the Nigerian soldiers, Nigerian army, classified information on the identities of the terrorists, strike will be carried out randomly and they will continue to fall victims.